Oh, Sterling's going to their bag. What have we got? What is that? Is that a boggling? It's a boggling! Do you remember bogglings?
I do remember
oh my
boggling.
God. Oh, what's that? It's a Minecraft sword, I think. The boggling. That man. Oh, I thought he was going to do a claw.
The boggling goes back to Commander Stephanie Sterling's old YouTube content.
Fantastic. Trying to choke the life out of Kid Bandit with a boggling.
Yep, it was inevitable. Had to happen. Boggling in a wrestling match. Good times ahead. I won that match, by the way. We'll show you a little bit of it more later. It involves Pokeballs. Bit of a content warning. It involves thumbtacks, like that one I did a couple of years back. Speaking of content warnings, by the way, I do apologise for last week's video where I showed off my new bride and it had flashing lights in it, and for some reason, despite having photosensitivity issues myself with my migraines and that, I looked at it and thought, yeah, that's fine. And it wasn't, so apologies for that. If it's any consolation, I did have one of my migraines for a couple of days last week, and on one of those days I watched the trailers for the upcoming horror game Stray Souls, and those trailers are 75 to 80% epilepsy. The game looks good, but my God, those trailers flash more than a... No! Actually, no, I won't finish that sentence. That was going to go really dark. Let's... on the subject of dark, talk about Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Well, there it is. There you are. There goes the fucking neighbourhood.
There he is!
Microsoft has finally acquired the most successful third-party publisher in the video games business, Activision Blizzard, in the biggest company buyout in games industry history. I'd say that was a notification from Windows telling me to play Forza Motorsport. Fuck off, Microsoft. I'd respond to the buyout news by saying, at last, due to my utter exhaustion with the 2-year-long, mostly boring legal saga, in which there were no heroes, if not for the fact that as Microsoft's power grows to near untouchable degrees, I can see literally zero positives in this blend of two shit tastes that taste shit together. Let's face it, it was always going to happen. Maybe, many years ago, when the cronyism that's always been part of business at least pretended to have standards, this move may well have been blocked, as it almost was in the UK, on the grounds of being antithetical to fair competition, or perhaps even edging toward a de facto monopoly. This is because that's what it is. Microsoft now owns Bethesda, one of the most perplexingly beloved studios in all of gaming, and Activision Blizzard King, the exploitative monster behind Call of Duty, Candy Crush, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and of course, Build-A-Bear Workshop, welcome to Hugsville. Microsoft, who pinky swore that its buyout wouldn't be anti-competitive because we promise, even as it was making Bethesda games exclusive to its platforms, is definitely being anti-competitive with this move. That's the point of corporations, isn't it? Companies exist to make money, a statement often said in defense of companies even though it's a clear fucking indictment. All they exist for is monetary gain as much as humanly possible, infinite growth at any cost, preferably human cost. As we've always said on this show, quoting what a Square Enix insider told me over 10 years ago, companies don't want some of the money, they want all of the money. That's what companies do. And despite what executives spout about the free market, their behaviour has always indicated that they want the market to be anything other than free. What they want is for them to be free. Only them, which is one big reason why company buyouts happen in the first place. Because a corporation isn't satisfied just being successful, not when it can own or crush the competition and stop having to provide competitive pricing, quality products, or anything else that sounds like too much of an investment management of their vast resources. The Disney principle, essentially. Make no mistake, as soon as Microsoft feels it can get away with it, it'll do with Call of Duty what it did with Starfield, and it'll fucking hurt Sony real bad. I say this as a warning not because I have any love for Sony, it's a scummy corpo like all the rest, and if it were in Microsoft's position it would do the same thing, but because you just don't want one company with excessive control of an entire industry. It's never gone well. The moment they stop competing, like I suggested, they stop trying. Take Game Pass for instance. Originally a genuinely great value prospect, it's already been predicted to start charging more while offering less, and it's been steadily kneecapping its own worth by manipulatively offering Game Pass games several days early if you buy them instead of using your fucking subscription. And Microsoft has never been in touch with the industry it barged into. Phil Spencer can wear as many cringy gamer t-shirts under his little blazer as he likes, but he's the one who, in leaked court documents, thought they should try and buy Nintendo while it was weak during the height of the Nintendo Switch's success. From its embarrassing attempts to turn the Xbox into a combined television and gaming system, to its backtracked plan to make an always-online DRM machine, to the fucking awfulness that was the Kinect, Microsoft just doesn't really do good things when it attempts originality, or rather, repurposes old ideas and pretends they're original. The company has, in my opinion, had a net negative influence on the game industry overall. I discussed this fully in a video a few years ago, but to recap, it was Microsoft that normalised paying for online services on consoles. Xbox Live was once a contentious issue, paywalling something that had always been free, but these days nobody questions it and every platform makes us pay to play online multiplayer games. Microsoft also has a lot to answer for when it comes to microtransactions in full-priced games, with the Xbox One's first-party launch library absolutely stuffed with in-app purchases. Whether it was the rather shitty Rise Son of Rome or the very shitty Dragon Fuck Flaps, Microsoft aggressively did its part in conditioning a community to accept an insidious and despicable business model as standard. What was the name of that really shitty dragon game on Xbox One? Drake of the 99 Dragons, that wasn't it. With Drake of the 99 Dragons. That's the first Xbox. The game stars Drake, an undead assassin who is on a quest to avenge his murdered clan, the 99 Dragons, by recovering their ancient soul portal artifact from antagonist Tang. Tang intends on using the artifact to harvest the souls of dead beings and power his undead cyborg army. Idle FX intended for Drake of the 99 Dragons to be the launchpad for a multimedia franchise which would include comics and a potential animated television series. Well, I can imagine that went well because I've never heard of this game. Plans were scrapped due to the game's negative reception and is often noted as one of the worst video games ever made. On March 7, 2018, the Microsoft Windows port of the game was re-released on Steam. I need to start playing that immediately. Well, after the rest of this video, I suppose. Now, if you were to ask me what part of this buyout personally offends the most, well, if you've watched previous recent episodes, you'll have seen me refer to the point. A few months ago, Microsoft laid off roughly 1,000 people. As gaming and tech caps off periods of unsustainably rapid growth with massive job cuts across many companies, Microsoft elected to jettison 1,000 human beings during a horrible recession and cost of living debacle that absolutely hasn't negatively affected corporate interests at all. In fact, executives transferring more wealth to themselves is a big part of why everybody else is struggling. That was just a few short months ago, a matter of weeks, all before Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. $68.7 billion. It's a figure absolutely inconceivable to the human mind. Trying to visualize even 1 billion things is practically impossible for the human brain. Having $1 billion is something I've never been able to imagine, despite spending an entire career talking about billionaires. It's not just an immoral amount of money to have, it's a fucking alien amount of money to have. Now, for no reason, here's a picture of Bobby Kotick. Look, I warned ya. Oh, fun note, by the way, I mentioned the 1,000 job layoffs at Microsoft in this video, and I forgot, because ADHD, full, I managed to forget that that was part of 10,000 layoffs that Microsoft has had recently. Microsoft has indulged in, should I say. So, yeah. It's even more fucking ghastly than what I was saying. 10,000 jobs. And they're throwing around 68.7 billion as if it's nothing. Microsoft just spent 68.7 alien amounts of money to acquire a company whose CEO has alien amounts of money with an eye to making downright eldritch amounts of money together. And with all that money it can just chuck around to buy new toys, it can't save 1,000 people's futures. Compared to what it spent, those people's paychecks would be so minuscule as to not even register as a drop in the ocean. The executives are so wealthy they could pay those people out of pocket and be just as rich if not richer at the end of the year. $68.7 billion. That you can even consider layoffs when you're on the cusp of spending that much money is fucking unconscionable. If I were among the MS layoffs, I don't think I'd be able to find words equal to the task of communicating my offence. It's offensive. It's an obscenity. What Microsoft has done, in context, is fucking obscene. Actually, even out of the context of layoffs, it's fucking obscene. That much money. A company shouldn't have that much. Nobody or nothing should. I'm looking at you, Scrooge McDuck, you fucking cunt.
Life is an obscenity in Duckburg, cause this thing duck owns everything. He's a duck slur. Let's go on a duck hunt, cause this guy's such big
I'm truly possessed of the belief that one of the restrictions on buyouts should be job protection. You just shouldn't be able to indulge in layoffs and buy things for tens of billions of dollars in the same year. If you can't afford the people, you shouldn't be able to acquire the company. Of course, it's not about what Microsoft can afford. It never has been. It can afford those jobs. The officers of these companies make multitudes more than the people they lay off. It just wanted to save money, to pretend it was still growing, the thing all these companies do to perpetuate that lie of infinite growth that we love to call out here. I'm pretty sure that price, the $68.7 billion, doesn't include however much Microsoft spent on the legal battle and the inevitable wheel greasing employed to get to this point.
It's a lawyer's nightmare.
Well, you better get used to it.
Fuck Microsoft. Fuck Activision Blizzard. We'll have to see what other jobs might be cost following the acquisition. Corporate restructuring following buyouts like this often create even more layoffs. One man who won't have anything to worry about though is Activision CEO and assistant threatener Bobby Kotick, who's either going to keep his job or depart with a massive golden parachute that'll add further inconceivable wealth to his net worth of $7 billion. He may have overseen years of abusive and discriminatory behaviour at his company, but the shareholders love him because he allegedly makes the money. I mean, it's actually the abused and underpaid staff under him that does the labour that makes the money, but he helps by, being a slimy, unlikable worm cousin? We'll do this in a culture that strives to empower everyone to do their best work, where all people are welcome, and is centred on our ongoing commitment of gaming for everyone, lied Phil Spencer. We are intentional about inclusion in everything we do at Xbox, from our team to the products we make and the stories we tell, to the way our players interact and engage as a wider gaming community. Given what they just bought, and what leadership at that company did and got away with in terms of misconduct and prejudice, that statement just seems like a fucking insult. For years I've talked about how corrupted to the very root Activision is. I mean, the whole game industry, but Activision in particular, how it's run by a genuinely monstrous man protected by the circled wagons of his investor friends. I've always said that while those fucking Skeksis remain in control and remain rewarded, Activision Blizzard will not be able to begin to dig the corruption from its dark, oily heart. Those men are all getting rewarded for this, while those who laboured under them only get to fear for their jobs. Once again, it's fucking obscene. So fuck Microsoft, fuck Activision, and fuck Scrooge McDuck.
See, man, Zilla! It's all the extra poo that makes a difference.
Smith Spike.
It's a There's a Pokeball now. We haven't quite finished with Pokemon.
Oh, here we go. Kid Bandit's got to catch them all.
What?
Oh, is
that the Ultra Ball?
It's the Ultra Ball.
Or something. A different type of Pokeball. Battle of wits now.
I think the Ultra Ball would win in this fight, though.
Or does it not depend on the level of Pokemon? Oh, no!
They were filled with thumbtacks. Competitors are in somewhere they don't want to be. Those thumbtacks.
God.
Oh, no.
Bandits up! It was a 2! Oh, gosh.
Commander Stephanie Sterling with us. Oh,
face first!
Into those thumbtacks.
It won't work. 99 Drake and the Dragons won't work. It won't open on the Steam Deck. It's a bit dusty, that. Not because I haven't been playing it, but because I'm a dirty cow. That's about it for this week. Thank you all once again. Thank you to Z-Manzilla, who is now a regular co-editor on the show, and who is just funnier than me. I have never been so amused, yet so jealous, watching that DuckTales bit. You bastard. Well, thank God for me. Anyway, thank God for Z-Manzilla. And thank God for Pokeball thumbtacks. Or thumbtack Pokeballs, I guess. I'm going to be doing that more in a match.